Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. We're jumping into something pretty incredible today.
Yeah, it's really exciting stuff.
NVIDIA's brand new RTX 50 series graphics cards.
This isn't just like your typical upgrade. We're talking about AI-powered graphics taken to a whole other level.
If you're a gamer, or you do creative work, or just love seeing cutting-edge tech,
Or all of the above.
you're in the right place. We're going to be talking about the Blackwell architecture.
Blackwell, you can kind of think of it like the foundation of this massive leap forward in what these cards can do. It's about performance, it's about capability,
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. It really is. These cards aren't just about making things look pretty anymore. We're talking about billions upon billions of transistors.
Billions.
92 billion in the top-of-the-line RTX 5090. That's the flagship card.
Okay, 92 billion. That's got to be like more than all the stars in a galaxy, right?
It's an astronomical number, that's for sure. But it's not just about the sheer number, it's about what they do. These transistors power these special AI processors called RT and tensor cores. These are dedicated cores just for AI. And because of that, the RTX 50 series can handle something like 3,352 trillion AI operations per second.
Okay, so hold on. I need to process that for a minute. So we're not just talking about like better graphics. This is
Yeah.
like a whole different way for these cards to process information, right?
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. They can do things that we just couldn't do before in real time, things like ray tracing and deep learning.
And it's all thanks to this Blackwell architecture.
Yep, Blackwell's laying the groundwork.
Okay, but let's bring it down to earth for a sec. What does all of this mean for someone who just wants to, like, play the newest games?
Let's talk about DLSS. You familiar with DLSS? NVIDIA's AI-powered upscaling tech.
Yeah, sure.
DLSS 4 is a complete game changer.
Okay.
It's not just like rendering at a higher resolution anymore. It uses AI to actually create entirely new frames based on what it learns from the game.
Hold up. So the AI is basically like predicting what the game should look like next and then just like filling in those gaps. That's wild.
It's incredible, right? It's looking ahead and saying, okay, based on everything I've seen, this is what should be coming next, and fills it in instead of having to render every single pixel.
Wow. So what does that actually mean for gameplay?
We're talking up to 8 times the performance boost.
8 times.
You can play the most visually demanding games out there at super high resolution with silky smooth frame rates without needing a supercomputer.
That's insane. Okay, but what about the people who aren't like hardcore gamers? What about the rest of us?
It's not just for gamers. Honestly, this is going to revolutionize creative work as well. One of the biggest things is FP4 precision support.
Okay, FP4 precision. Can you break that down for me?
Sure. In the simplest terms, it means that these really complex AI models can now run locally on these GPUs. You don't need this like crazy expensive specialized hardware anymore.
So like creators can do things like, I don't know, generate images or edit videos using AI right on their own computer.
Exactly. We're talking professional level stuff right at your fingertips. And it's not just theory. There are AI models already out there like FLUX.1 from Black Forest Labs that can use this power to create some absolutely stunning art and special effects.
So it's like having like a Hollywood level studio right there in your home.
That's a great way to put it. It's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And it gets even more wild when we start talking about neural rendering.
Neural rendering. Okay, now I feel like we're in sci-fi territory.
It might sound like it, but this is the future of graphics. It's not just about enhancing existing graphics, but using AI to actually generate them in real time. Imagine games that look so real, it's hard to tell they're not real life.
Okay, hold on. Now you're just showing off.
It's exciting stuff.
Give me some real-world examples. How does this actually work?
Let's take RTX Neural Shaders. These are like these tiny little AI networks that are built right into the graphics pipeline, and they allow for this incredible level of detail in materials and lighting effects that we just couldn't do before in real time.
So games are going to look even more realistic and immersive.
Absolutely. And it's not just the environments. We've got RTX Neural Faces, which can create like lifelike digital faces on the fly.
Wow.
Yeah. And you combine that with things like ray-traced hair and skin, and suddenly things are getting very interesting.
Interesting might be an understatement. This is some next-level stuff.
It is. And then on top of all that, we have RTX Mega Geometry. Imagine being able to have 100 times more detail in game environments.
100 times.
They'll be able to explore these worlds that are so richly detailed, it's like you're actually there. It's incredible.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. But before we go too deep down that rabbit hole of hyper-realistic video games, I want to circle back to the creator side of things for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got to talk more about these AI-powered tools that are basically giving artists and designers superpowers.
Yeah, no, you're right. We can't forget about the creators. For example, look at NVIDIA's Broadcast app. This app has all these features that use AI to just make your audio and video so much better.
Okay.
You've got Studio Voice, which can clean up your audio, get rid of background noise. You've got Virtual Key Light, which can dynamically adjust your lighting to make your streams look way more professional.
So it's like having a whole production crew built right into your computer.
Exactly. These tools are insanely powerful, and they're getting easier and easier to use, which is amazing.
Okay, I need to catch my breath for a second. We've covered a lot of ground here. I have a feeling we're just scratching the surface of what this RTX 50 series can do.
You're absolutely right. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
No.
We're entering a whole new era of computing, and the RTX 50 series is at the forefront of that.
It's mind-blowing. It really feels like we're witnessing this paradigm shift in how we use and interact with technology.
It really is. And it all comes down to how AI is changing the game. It's not just about individual features anymore. It's changing the foundation of how we design and use technology.
You know, we started this whole conversation talking about games and graphics, but it's clear that this goes way beyond that.
Yeah, for sure. AI is everywhere. From the apps on our phones to the cars we drive, it touches every part of our lives.
Okay. Before my brain completely melts down, I need to bring it back down to earth for a sec.
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways? What should people be most excited about?
Well, first and foremost, this shows the power of AI. It's not just enhancing old tech, but it's driving the creation of completely new technologies and experiences.
Like the neural rendering and those crazy realistic AI characters that we talked about before.
Exactly. And the second thing is that this tech is becoming more and more accessible every day. Whether you're a gamer or a creator or just someone who uses a computer, you're going to benefit from AI in the coming years.
So it's not just for tech wizards and big corporations anymore?
Not at all. AI is becoming a part of everything. It's a huge shift in how we interact with the world around us.
All right, I'm officially on board the AI hype train. But before we get too carried away, are there any potential downsides to all of this? Are there any reasons to be cautious?
That's a great question. I mean, with any powerful technology, there are going to be challenges.
Like what? Give me the worst case scenario.
Well, I think one of the biggest concerns is the impact on jobs. As AI gets more and more sophisticated, there's a chance that it could automate tasks that humans are currently doing. And that's something we need to be aware of and make sure people are prepared for.
So it's not about AI taking over our jobs, but it's about us adapting and learning new skills.
Exactly. It's about working together, humans and AI. We need to be focusing on education and training to make sure people have the skills to succeed in this new world.
That makes a lot of sense. We can't just bury our heads in the sand and pretend things aren't changing. We need to be proactive.
I agree. And it's not just about jobs, it's also about being responsible with this technology. Things like data privacy and security are really important, and we need to make sure we have the right safeguards in place.
So it's not just about the tech itself, but how we use it and what kind of values we build into it.
That's exactly right. We need to have these open and honest conversations about how AI is going to impact society and make sure that it's developed in a way that reflects our values.
Okay, so it's not all sunshine and roses. There are some serious challenges to think about. But I'm still optimistic. I think we can use AI for good.
Me too. I really believe that with the right planning and careful thought, we can create a future where AI benefits all of humanity.
All right, I think this is a great place to pause for a moment. We've covered a ton of ground here, from the amazing things the RTX 50 series can do to the bigger questions about AI and society.
It's been a great conversation, and this is just the start. AI is constantly evolving, so there's always more to explore.
That's what's so exciting. We're living in this crazy time of incredible technological advancement, and it's amazing to see it happening. But for now, we need to take a short break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up and share our final thoughts on the future of AI. Stay with us.
Okay, we're back, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around all this AI stuff, but let's get practical for a minute. What kind of actual performance gains are we talking about with this RTX 50 series?
Hold on to your hats because the RTX 5090, their flagship card, is boasting double the performance of the previous generation's 4090.
Double. That's a massive jump. But what about for those of us who aren't, swimming in cash? Are there options for people who don't want to spend a fortune?
Oh, absolutely. NVIDIA definitely hasn't forgotten about us regular folks. The RTX 5070, for example. It's designed to give you performance that's comparable to the 4090, but at a way more affordable price. We're talking $549.
So you're saying I can get next-gen AI-powered graphics without having to sell a kidney. I like the sound of that. That's the amazing thing about this. AI is making this high-end performance actually more accessible, not less. It's not just about pushing the limits, it's about bringing that power to more people.
That's a really important point. It's easy to get caught up in all the hype and forget that this technology needs to actually be usable for, everyday people.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond just the price. NVIDIA has also got this Max-Q technology that lets laptops with these powerful GPUs have much better battery life, like up to 40% longer in some cases.
Wait, hold on. Powerful AI, affordable price, A&D longer battery life. Are we living in the future or something?
It's starting to feel like it, right? It all goes back to how AI is fundamentally changing how we think about computing. It's a whole different way of looking at things.
We started out talking about games and fancy graphics, but this is so much bigger than that.
It really is. AI is everywhere. It's in how we work, how we play, how we learn, how we create. It's touching every part of our lives.
Okay, before my brain melts completely, bring it back down to earth for me.
Yeah.
What are the main takeaways here? What should people be most excited about?
Okay, so first off, the RTX 50 series is a big sign of just how powerful AI is. It's not just making old tech better, it's leading to completely new technologies and experiences.
Like the neural rendering and those crazy AI-powered characters that we talked about earlier.
Exactly, those are great examples. And second, this technology is becoming more accessible to everyone. So whether you're a gamer, a creator, or just someone who uses a computer, AI is going to make a difference in your life in the years to come.
It's not just for the tech geniuses and big companies anymore?
Nope, not at all. AI is being integrated into everything. It's a fundamental shift in how we interact with the world.
All right, I'm getting on board this AI hype train. But before we get too carried away, let's think about the bigger picture for a minute. Are there any potential downsides we should be aware of? Any reason to be cautious?
That's a really good question. I mean, with any powerful technology, there are always potential challenges we need to think about.
Like what? Give me the worst case scenario.
Well, one of the biggest concerns is the impact on jobs. As AI becomes more and more advanced, it has the potential to automate jobs that are currently done by humans. It's something we need to be mindful of and make sure we're prepared for.
So it's not about AI taking over our jobs, but about us adapting and learning new skills to work alongside AI.
Exactly. It's about collaboration between humans and AI. We need to focus on education and training programs that help people develop the skills they need to thrive in this new world.
That makes sense. We can't just ignore the changes that are happening. We need to be proactive.
Absolutely. And it's not just about jobs. It's also about using AI responsibly. We need to think about data privacy, security, and make sure we have the right safeguards in place.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but how we use it and the values we build into it.
Precisely. We need to have open and honest conversations about the impact of AI on society and ensure that it's developed in a way that aligns with our values.
Okay, so it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are real challenges to consider. But I'm still optimistic. I think we can use AI for good.
I agree. With careful planning and thoughtful consideration, we can create a future where AI benefits all of humanity.
All right, I think that's a great place to pause for a moment. We've covered a lot of ground, from the amazing capabilities of the RTX 50 series to the bigger questions about AI and society.
It's been a great conversation, and it's just the beginning. The world of AI is constantly evolving, and there's so much more to explore.
That's what makes it so exciting. We're living in a time of unprecedented technological advancement, and it's incredible to witness it firsthand. But for now, we need to take a short break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up with our final thoughts on the future of AI and what it means for all of us. Stay tuned. We're back, and it's time to tackle the big question. What does the future hold for AI? Are we headed for, like, a technological utopia or a straight-up dystopian nightmare?
I think that's the question everyone's asking, isn't it? And the answer, like most things, is probably somewhere in between.
So no robot overlords taking over the world?
Not necessarily, but really, the future of AI is all about the choices we make today, how we develop it, how we regulate it, and maybe most importantly, how we decide to use it.
Okay, so let's get specific. What are some of the most exciting things that could happen?
We've already talked about some of them. Imagine healthcare that's personalized to you, based on your genes, thanks to AI diagnostics and treatments.
So no more waiting forever for test results and no more, like, cookie-cutter medicine.
Exactly. AI could change education, too. Think about adaptive learning platforms that work with each student's learning style and pace. Like every student has their own virtual tutor to help them learn.
Now, that would be amazing. It'd be like having a private tutor for everyone.
What about beyond healthcare and education?
Think about AI tackling some of the biggest problems we face. Climate change, for instance. It could help us create better renewable energy, use resources more efficiently, and even predict and lessen the damage from climate disasters. Okay, so AI could be a huge force for good. But let's be real, there are some downsides, right? We talked about jobs, but what else should we be thinking about?
You're right. There are definitely potential risks that we need to be aware of. One of the biggest is privacy. As AI gathers and analyzes tons of data, we have to make sure our personal information is protected.
I've also heard some people worry about AI being used for things like surveillance and controlling people. Is that something to be concerned about?
It's something we absolutely need to keep an eye on. The same tech that can make healthcare and education better could also be used for bad things. That's why it's crucial to talk openly and honestly about the ethics of AI. We need to make sure it's developed responsibly. Transparency and accountability are really important.
So it's not just about the technology, but about the values we put into it and the rules we create around it.
You got it. We need to be deliberate about the kind of future we want with AI. It's powerful, and like any powerful tool, it can be used for good or for bad. We have to choose the path we want to take.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation, and it feels like we've just scratched the surface.
We really have. There's so much more to explore. It's a constantly evolving field, and that's what makes it so exciting and important to talk about.
So what's the key takeaway for our listeners? What should they keep in mind as they go out into this new world of AI?
I think the most important thing is to stay informed, be critical thinkers, and be part of the conversation. AI isn't some futuristic thing. It's already here. It's impacting our lives every day.
So no hiding from it, right?
Exactly. We need to be involved in shaping the future of AI. That means asking hard questions, demanding transparency from those creating these technologies, and using our voices to advocate for the future we want.
I love that. It's not about being afraid of AI. It's about understanding it and helping guide its development to benefit everyone.
That's exactly it. AI can solve some of our toughest problems and help create a better future for all of us. But it's up to us to make sure it happens.
Well said. That's a great place to wrap things up. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into AI. It's been a wild ride.
The pleasure was all mine. And remember, the future of AI isn't set in stone. It's something we build together.
And that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in to the deep dive. We hope you found this interesting and thought-provoking. Be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into all sorts of fascinating topics. Until next time, keep exploring.